Got it. All right. So we sitting here. Don't let everybody come in. Today's a serious day. You know, I brought all the heavy hitters from back in the crack era that I know you heard a lot of negative things about, because we did a lot of negative things. We was young, you know, we worked with what we had, and you know, it is what it is. So we made a lot of mistakes. We made a lot of mistakes, and we here today to try and redemptify ourselves by trying to save the youth and prevent the youth from going down the same path that we went down. We made a lot of mistakes. You know, the brothers here is ready to let you know where they stand today, you know, who they were, who they are, and what they planning to offer back to the community with me. Because the same community that we destroyed is the same community that we need to rebuild. And we apologizing, and we here trying to do the best we can, you know? All right, let me bring the brothers up. Kevin, come on up, man.
You, what up?
Yeah, what up? All right. Tell them who you are, so family, what you was arrested, convicted of, the time you did, and you know, basically what you're doing right now.
Kevin Chiles. I was convicted of running a continuing criminal enterprise, which is CCE, drug kingpin charge, just trafficking narcotics. You know, I ultimately went to trial, got 2 hung juries, and ended up pleading to a 10-year sentence. I've been home now about a decade and a half, and since then I've been doing Don Diva magazine and now Don Diva Global Media, you know, for almost 2 decades now, you know. But again, I've been home for a little bit over a decade and a half. You know, I got a media company now. That's pretty much what I'm doing right now, you know. So there you have it. That's my story, the short version.
Okay, so now we're gonna bring up the brother Low. What's up, big bro?
Hey, what's going on?
Tell them what your name is, you know, your case, where you from, how much time you did, and what it is that you're doing today.
Yeah, my name is Lamont. I'm from Harlem. I did 27 years, and today, my charge was murder. Actually, a double homicide, but I got convicted for 1 charge and did 27 years, and currently I'm out today working with the youth.
Okay, that's what's up. Yeah, because you're doing the boxing in DC, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about that program. All right, well, we here, and we got a couple more brothers coming in, but you know, we all just coming home, so we don't really understand the mechanics of this that's going on. But so we're gonna work with what we got. What it is go ahead, we back. Excuse me. No, go. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we here, man, and we here to welcome home, you know, Lou Sims, one of the brothers from our era that you know, been through it, you know, done that, and now he's trying to give back himself. You know what I mean? Like I said, we wasn't no nice guys back in the days. We're not here faking that we was no nice guys. You know what I mean? So let's keep it 100, because you know you got people trying to scrutinize things and things like that. So we ain't saying we no nice guys. We just say that we're men today, and we was boys yesterday, and we did what children did. You know, let me bring him up, man. One welcome home. You know, Lou Sims from LynchMob, man. How you doing, Lou?
What's up? What's up with y'all? I'm alaikum to all the brothers, man. You know, it's a humble that we here to, you know what I'm saying, to have this little gathering. But what's up, man? It feels good to be free. What's up?
Now, you know, I just wanted to personally welcome you home and, you know, let it be known. That's why I called it prison talk, because we all came home from prison. And I'm hearing that a lot of the youth is feeling like if it's cool to go to jail. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I could do 20 years. I could do life. You know what I mean? So I wanted them to see brothers that did decades. You know what I mean? I mean, reputable brothers. You understand what I'm saying? Tell them, you know, what you was convicted of, you know, pled guilty to, and, you know, just about you, so that they know who they're talking to and who we welcoming home, so they know that this is a man, and this is not to glorify anything. This is just so you know who we were, and we introducing who we are today.
Well, I was convicted of a capital in the state in the state. I mean, in the feds, and in the state, I had a capital. I had a capital in the state of Alabama.
A capital murder.
A capital murder.
Mm-hmm.
I was on death row for 3 years until I got that overturned, and then I did my. But both of the, I also faced a capital on my federal case too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I had two. I faced the two capitals.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for RICO in the state. I mean, in the feds.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I did 30 years off of that. I just came home. I ain't been home too long. You know, like 2 months. You know, enjoying the freedom. You know, but it's good, to be with y'all to be able to talk about this and see some ends, because at one time I didn't think I was gonna see nothing. You know, Kev, you was there. You witnessed the ups and downs. You know, you know. But it ain't been a peaceful trip. You know, it's been hard going. But I'm here though. You know.
Hey.
You know.
You know. But that's what it's about, man. Okay, so you said what you was convicted of, so we done with that. So where we are today is what is it you're trying to do or accomplish to help the youth? What would you like to do? What you feel that we should do as the elders, because they failed us. You know what I mean? Because they gave us the rules to the street and to the code, and we know that wasn't supposed to be given to children. But we took it, we honored it, and we did what we had to do with it. You know what I mean? But what is it you'd like to tell the youth today?
Well, right now, my co-defendant is dealing with the youth. But I'm working with a few senators on dealing with prison reform, prison abuse, and abuse of power, abuse of privilege of power in the federal state. Things that I went through. I'm trying to shine some light on that, so they can really do away from it, mismanagement of funds and things like that. That's been going on in the feds since the last couple of years. So that's what I'm trying to deal with right now. But I'm helping my co-defendant with his youth program too. Whatever I can do, tell him what I went through. Give him some insight of what I went through, hoping that they won't take that same path. But at the same time, I'm trying to help the brothers that's locked down. That's really going through something right now. You know what I'm saying? Because like I look at the news and see that a lot of racist and a lot of abusive of authority for like police getting away with a lot of things in society, but the same thing is going on in the prisons at a full scale, worse than that. You know what I'm saying? Prisons, I mean, you got prison guards that's getting away with murder just like they're getting away with murder in here, and it's not being reported or nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times people don't have no outside support. So I'm trying to be that, that outside support, trying to shine some light on that as well as mismanagement funds, because compared to when we was in there, the feds, we came in the feds, we was eating good and we ain't had to go to commissary. All we need the commissary for is on lockdowns. Right now, the way they treat him, oh man ain't got nothing, he gonna starve in there. You know what I'm saying? The recreation crept with it compared to when we came in with weights and all that, we don't have none of that. You know what I'm saying? What I want to know is where's the funds going at? You know what I'm saying? It got to be, because it's a budget cut for the prisons. You know what I'm saying? For each inmate to eat, or as well as recreation and all the rest of the art department, law library and everything, and we not getting that no more. So I've been talking to certain senators and trying to get them to look into certain things, as well as prison reforms, and so we can have some programs for when we do get released. You know what I'm saying? Some have some kind of job skills as well as jobs waiting for us on the outside. Because we coming back to nothing. You know what I'm saying? You got to realize, if a man do 20, 30 years in jail and don't learn nothing but what he read in the book, you know what I'm trying to say? He ain't got no on-hand skills. He's worthless out here right now. I can't hear you.
Yeah, excuse me. I say, that was perfect, right on time. Now I want to ask everybody this question. What impacted your life in a negative and positive way during your last bid?
On my last bid?
Yeah, the bid we just did, the 30 years. What impacted your life in a negative or positive way?
Well, what impacted in the negative? Well, the negative part, I stayed. Y'all already know I stayed in lockdowns my whole bid. You know what I'm trying to say? Trying to hold up a
For
city
real.
that's a bygone. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
going to find out that New York is New York no more. You know what I'm saying? So and half of the times I went to the box, it wasn't for me. You know what I'm saying? I got locked down and went to a program. It wasn't for me. It was for one of the homies. So you know, I got to say that, but it took a long time learning, but I learned. You know what I'm saying? You know, so I can sit here and tell you what not to do, and I can tell you what to do. You know what I'm saying? Or like on that prison thing. You know what I'm saying? The thing that I had to get, that I had to learn, that I was able to do it. I was doing time. You know what I'm trying to say? The way I knew doing it, coming from the state of New York when prison was really prison. You know what I'm saying? So me just coming to the feds, that's when I'm just doing time. But at the same time, me being locked down, I wasn't thinking about my loved ones, how it was affecting them, how they needed my phone calls, how they wanted to come visit me. You know what I'm saying? They travel, they got to travel over here, or when they do come see me, I'm behind a screen or on a TV. You know what I'm saying? So it was affecting them. And it took me a while to realize that. But when I read a letter from my wife one time, when she told me that how it was affecting us, yo, Lou, I know you can do it, but what about me? I had to sit down and reflect on that. Then I said, Joe, I got to do this old overhaul, because I'm not thinking about her or me. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm defending another man. You know what I'm trying to say? Like I said, on a city that's a bygone. No, it ain't the same no more. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, when we first came to the feds, we stuck together. You know what I'm saying? We ain't had to fight. We ain't had to fight for the next man. You know what I'm saying? That was part of being a man. You had to fight. You had to fight your own battles. You know what I'm saying?
Talk to him. That's what I'm talking about. Get to him. 95 Lewisburg, Atlanta.
They got this thing where they talking, where they got all the mouth and all the language. I call it the video language. You know what I'm saying? They got the language, but at the time they ain't got the thing to back it up from behind. You know what I'm trying to say? So therefore, you got to step up, because you feel it's a reflection on you. You know what I'm saying? But I had to get out of that whole thought thinking right there. You know what I'm saying? So, man got to be a man.
Let me break it down so that they can understand it a little bit more deep in layman's terms, being that they haven't been to prison. When you go to prison, somebody got to step up and be the man for the car. You understand what I'm saying? Because when you go places like out west, it's each group gang by your geographical location, by your flag, by your gang, by your this. So you got 10 Mexican gangs, you got 10 black gangs, they got 10, you know what I mean? It's just crazy. So you got all that going on. Then you got the individual men that just say, I'm from New York. You know what I mean? I'm from New York, or I'm from Harlem. You understand what I'm saying? And we stand on where we stand from, and we come together and we try and govern ourselves so that nobody in that circle, you know, get into nothing out here to crash, to make the other 9 have to come to fight for something that was so stupid and they should have never been involved with. You know what I mean? And the man that, you know, the welcoming home, that's Lou Sims. You know what I mean? That was him in the prison. You know what I mean? When anything happened with the New York car, you know what I mean? With the Harlem car, you understand what I'm saying? They went to Lou. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what he meant by he had to step up when he went to the box for things that had nothing to do with him. But if a little young dude decided to go rob somebody, you understand what I'm saying? Or beat somebody and don't pay him for his stamps for whatever reason, whether it's drugs, gambling, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Now they want to get at him because they want their money and blood. You know what I mean? But before they do that, you understand what I'm saying? They would have to come holler at Lou. Now, if they don't holler at Lou and they jump on him, you understand what I'm saying? Now that's where Lou's saying that he had to step up for things that, because he represents Harlem to the fullest. I just left Victorville, where I went, and he been gone about 5 years, and I went in the unit, and all they talked about was my homie Lou, homicide. You know what I mean? That's all they talked about. He done took a TV. He had a whole New York TV all the way in California. That what they tell me, because I wasn't there at the time he was there, but his footprint was so heavy. You understand what I'm saying? That they still talking about to this day, 2021, while I'm standing here. That's Lou TV. When dudes try to argue over with DC and New York, but we all together and we watch the TV, and every once in a while DC says this, and New York says this, but we all together. But at the end of the day, they say, man, that's Lou TV. But they be like, nah, Lou is for the people. Lou held it down for Harlem. He did what he do. And, you know, I want to thank you and I want to welcome you home, because you saved a lot of lives, man. Because all he had to do was tell certain young boys go and they would have went. You know what I mean? And there's other men like that. You know, there's men like that for every car. And it's men like that that know how to run a ship and that can think. But like he said, he was thinking more for us on the inside instead of his family on the outside.
Yeah, but I got to leave a shout out for my DC homies though from day one,
Definitely.
because before they before they emptied Lawton out, you know, you had the same brothers that was on what I was on. You know what I'm trying to say? A few times I got into it with their homies, and being that we were so tight, you know what I'm trying to say? They was like, yo, look, y'all go handle that. You know what I'm saying? That was man time. You know what I'm trying to say? And like whenever I came on the compound, they always, you know, showed me roll out the red carpet. Brought me stuff before the homies brung it. So I got to shout them out, you know what I'm saying?
Always.
Certain dudes,
you know? And that's one thing. That's why we're trying to get, I don't know what's happening with Larry Moe. I was trying to get Larry Moe in here from DC because that's one of DC's finest. You know what I mean? Me, him, and Lowe was out there in Atwater, and I mean, you know what I mean? He held everything down. We did what we did. You know what I mean? He having a little trouble coming in, so that's what it is. But like I said, none of this to brag. It's just to let it be known, like he's saying, that it broke his family because he was being loyal to the homies that was there, trying to keep peace and keep order and keep the rep, keeping it 100.
Yeah.
Because nobody want them to say that, you know, Harlem is bitches. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, he represents that to the fullest. So any compound he go on, they already know homicide here. I know you know, your loose ends, but I'm just letting them know how, you know, what it is in it. And they already know, you know, just like Lowe here. Lowe holds it down. I mean, that's my man. When I was out in Atwater also with me, him, Larry Moe, Antoine White, Minx, Mario, Whitey Forrester. I mean, everybody was out there. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, Big Mo Styles. I mean, everybody out there. It was men. Titus. You know what I'm saying? So picture all of them up there. Everybody doing about 1,000 years. Everybody's men on men time and just representing where we from. Tell them how that go down there in DC, Lord. I'm gonna let you take the floor on that. They're gonna run the New York system.
That's a long story there, you know, in itself. But you know, as Lou was saying, you got a lot of good men in DC, and in that system itself, me starting out in Lawton, being through predominantly all these systems.
What year was that?
Well, I was in Lawton in '90, but I started out in the juvenile system down here, so. You know, I bumped into a lot of good dudes, made a lot of good relationships with dudes. And when I did go to Lawton, I was pretty young at the time. So I got in Lawton, I was in maximum security. And like I said, I ran into a lot of good dudes, you know, some not here, no longer here, some still alive. You know, you got Tone, Mario, Titus, Tony Fortune. You know, a couple of good dudes there that I, you know, ran into, Terry Stedman, good men that recognize as being, you know, a part of them, as one of them. So I got nothing but love for a lot of dudes, you know, that's from this city in DC. And I still represent Harlem to the fullest. You know, I stay repping Harlem. And a lot of dudes know where I'm from, and they know how, you know, I stood for them and I stood for my New York people, period. And that's just what it was, you know.
That's what's up. You know what I mean? But that's how it is, man. Like I said, you know, Lowe, when we was out there in Atwater, I mean, you know, he kept everything in order. You know what I mean? I mean, he's a true general. You know what I mean? He's a chief. You know what I mean? And these is just traits of who he is. And instead of doing negative, he did positive in there to stop the brothers from crashing, as we call it. You understand what I'm saying? He too saved a lot of lives. You understand what I'm saying? And that's why the administration glad when men like that come on the compound, because they know that they're gonna bring order to the young boys. Because over there in the prison, they got a thing where the dudes masturbated to women. You understand what I'm saying? Ain't nobody from Harlem masturbating to no woman.
Well, that's a new fad right now. Back in the days, you already know what was happening back then. But you know, that, like I said, it's a new generation coming in right now, and that's what they on, you know. But all I can say is, you know, I can't speak for every other car, but for like us, you know, we ain't having that.
That's what I'm talking about. You know, and that's how you run a tight ship. Okay, let me ask Kevin this: do you have a lot of anxiety from the illegal nature of your past you know, work, and how does it manifest, and how do you alleviate it?
I'm not quite sure. I'm not clear on the question. When you say anxiety about what?
you know, just anxiety about being out here. You know what I mean? You know, we want things to happen when we want it to happen. I know you learned patience already because you've always been a laid-back, patient brother. But you know what I mean? Just the anxiety of wanting things to happen. You know what I mean? You know, like, you know, back in the day, we was feeling one way while we was hustling. How are you feeling now while you're legal hustling?
You know, you don't have no choice but to be patient at this point. I mean, you get a little older, you get a little wiser. You know, you process things a little bit different. You know, and your evaluation of life is more important. You know, so you just sort of just naturally slow down just because, like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't go to prison and do a certain amount of time and come home and don't sort of learn from your mistakes. I mean, some people don't, but for the most part, like Lou said, you know, you start realizing what's important. You know, your family, especially for me and all of us, because me, Lou, all of us, we all was in jail when my children was children. They were small kids, you know what I mean? So it's different when you come home and you're looking at grown-ups, you know, it's you have a different responsibility, you know? So I was fortunate enough to come home when my kids was like teenagers, you know? So when I left them, they was 3, 4 years old. When I came home, they was teenagers, you know, getting ready to graduate out of high school. So I had to make the adjustment for them because at some point you got to start putting your life in some sort of order and getting your priorities straight. So, you know, once you're thinking about your family, and that's what it's always been. Even when we was in the street, you know, the guys that you ran around with was your family. You know what I mean? So that's why we had so much love and respect for each other, you know? So at some point, you know, you just put your priorities in some sort of kind of order and that's what guides you, you know? That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so piggybacking off of both Kev and Lou, I think everybody's families took a major effect. So I know for me, myself, I took a lot of losses. I lost my mother. I lost my oldest sister. I lost my father. And I lost my grandmother and a couple of other family members. But it was more death for me than anything. And in a sense, I almost felt like other people were being punished within my family for the mistakes that I made, you know, when I was out there doing what I was doing at the time. And I kind of like felt like my coming home would have been the major cause of my mother's death. But, you know, God worked in mysterious ways, and he allowed me to see things, and he's even allowing me to see things now because I done faced a number of situations since being home where it was life-threatening for me. And I came out of that. But, you know, again, going back on what Kevin Lou said, it's more the families are affected. Those of us that had children, the children are affected because the relationship has such a big gap. Whereas though, how do you know, once you come home, you look to rekindle that. And sometimes it's not easy because with the generation now, is everybody is being raised so wildly, and it's like a spin cycle. Everybody moving fast, and they not feeling the love that they need to feel. So with us missing from their lives is like, how do you come home and think, you know, you can tell me this or that, or how to be, you know, a perfect individual when your life, you know, presented or produced this. So, you know, in a sense, is you look at when you look at the good and the bad. I benefited from prison as well. You know, I took up some trades, a number of trades.
Yeah, Harold.
Yeah, just went out. It was in. Let me know when you come in.
Okay.
There you go.
Here you go. Yeah. It was just in.
Yeah, just jumped out. Okay, let me ask y'all this until he come in. What was your breaking point that led you to change your life? What was that breaking point? When was it that you realized, man, I got to change my life? This ain't gonna work.
My
Is this so?
my last breaking point was when I went to Lewisburg lockdown. That was the worst. That was the worst.
Yeah,
That was the
it's
worst.
for real.
That was the worst smooth program I ever did. I'm talking about they ain't had no air conditioner, no TV in the
The
cell,
pipe in the cell.
no TV in the cell. rats, roaches all over the place. Then I had a celly that was half crazy, you know. So that right there. Then every night it was something going on. I'm talking about a bomb blowing or some pepper sprays every day, a few times a day. So when they had that joint, I was like, nah, I gotta straighten up because you know, and that was an 18-month program. Then now I think it's down to like 12 or 9 months. But that 18 months, you know, just going through that little drama right there, not having no kind of entertainment for like, you know, recreation for like TV as they gave you in Marion and Talladega, because I opened up Talladega, the old Cuban unit. They had TVs, cigarettes, and lighters and all that in there, you know, and we had a better recreation program. But that Lewisburg joint there, nah, police was setting you up so that they can send you back. You know what I'm saying? They were setting you up going to wreck with all kind of dudes. You know what I'm trying to say, that you know you ain't supposed to be in the cage with, but you know certain dudes gonna survive because you know who they is. But I don't witness certain other dudes that became victim just for nothing, man. You know, just for a minor argument with a CO. CO give them a cigarette or something. The other person, the other group a cigarette or something. That was it. You know what I mean? So I don't witness all that already. You know. That's why that's why I got this. I got to deal with that police brutality and prison reform and all that. You know, I got to reach back to them because the things that I witnessed throughout the years. But like I said, that Lewisburg was the worst. It took the case because you got to realize a lot of them COs that was there. When you talk about a lawsuit or something like that, the first thing they said, yeah, by the time a lawsuit go through, I'll be collect my pension. I'm gone. You know, I'll be retired. So, you know, it was like you couldn't win there, you know?
At all. And I started the bid off there in 95. You know what I mean? When the police there was all like Aryan Brotherhood, and they was the one funneling the drugs and the knives, you know what I mean, to the white dudes. Yeah. You know what I mean? I mean, that's, you know, I mean, I'm talking about real knives, you know? But
I already know what it is, you know. See, I feel that Allah has blessed me because I got away with a lot of things that I felt that I could have got new time for, especially when Kev, you was there when in Otisville when I jumped on the lieutenant there. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Then it happened in Atlanta in the hole when I came back from my capital case. You know what I'm saying? The CO questioning my, you know, how I gave my time back. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what you mean by that? You know what I'm saying? You know, I couldn't let that go. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, that was me being me. But now that I reflect on it, I was like, man, you know, that shit could have cost me more time on top of the time, you know. But now I look at the way they're getting away with so much, you know what I'm saying? But killing the brothers in jail or just getting away with just beating them down. I was like, man, you know, somebody got to be out here to speak for them because we don't have nobody on the outside to really speak on that right now.
Like I just talked to a brother the other day, and he was telling me he in the state. He was telling me, man, they just locked me up because I was writing up some grievances. They got me in a hole. They put a shank in my cell, and I go home in about a month. Now, what do I look like having a night in the cell, and I'm going home in a month? You know what I mean? But they don't care. Bottom line is that's your knife now because they gave that to you. You know what I mean? That's prison world. You know what I mean? Now they're going to try and give them more time for the knife, but now they got to take the knife and charge you in the street court to give you more time separate than whatever time you're already doing. So these are the games that's going on. So that's what he's saying. He want to fight to stop that. Because if the police just put a piece of plastic in there that's sharp and say that, you know, it's in your cell and now they lock you up, there's nothing you can do about it. You got more time. You can't see your family. You're going to the tube. You're dealing with a whole bunch of stuff. You're losing your property. And that's what it is. You know? So what was your breaking point when you decided you want to change, Kevin?
Honestly, I think when I came home, I want to say that's what it was for me because, you know, I was definitely really bitter, you know, at the system because I felt like I didn't do the time for, I sort of felt like I was railroaded, sort of like, you know, I went to trial and I didn't really feel like my trial was really fair. And it seemed like at some point it was really just about them taking, you know, my assets. Because once I negotiated all of that with them, it seemed like, you know, everything sort of worked itself out. So I sort of had a little chip on my shoulder at the time, you know, when I came home. And I had some good brothers, you know, that was still, you know, that still was running around a little bit. And one of my co-defendants, which, you know, Lou, you know, my dude Bob, you know, was like my dude, you know what I'm saying? And I had just been home about 6 months. And you know, we was running around, and my head still wasn't necessarily in the right place at the time, you know, for what it's worth. But then he got killed, you know, while I was on home confinement, you know, and you know, that was the first thing that sort of threw me off, because like I was leaning on him a certain kind of way, you know, it's my guy. And shortly after that, there was another dude that I was sort of cool with, who was like holding me down while I was doing my bit, and then all of a sudden he got busted. And both of these individuals was guys that I was really, really cool with. So when these two things happened, I'm like, you know what? Something's trying to tell me I need to sit my ass down. You know what I mean? Because when I came home, a lot of things were still going on. So the enticement was still really there for me. You know what I mean? And I know my name was really good, and my reputation was what it was. So it was nothing for me to get in position a certain kind of way. You know what I mean? And like I said, I had that chip on my shoulder and that resentment, and I wanted to get back a certain kind of way. So, but when those two things happened, it just made me say, like, you know what, something, because in both those situations, I more than likely, if the circumstances wasn't what they were, I would have been with both them individuals one way or another, either catching a new case or even worse. So, you know, I had to reflect on that and say, you know what, something's telling me, you know, and I've always been fortunate enough to be guided a certain kind of way and avoid a lot of things that I got around by some higher power or something, you know. And it felt like in that moment, something was talking to me, and I said, you know what, let me really focus on my business, because I've always had businesses that were successful, but I never really put the time into them because I was making so much money doing other things that I didn't cater to those things, you know. So I really sat down and said, you know, I'm gonna put my focus and my attention on really making this business do what it needed to do. And I just got focused, you know what I'm saying? And then that's just where I got. I had to put some distance between myself and the streets a certain kind of way, and I just got real focused with my business, you know. So that's what it was for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, you know, that's what it is. No, we got Farris over there. Where Farris at? You know, yo, this is Farris, Lou's co-defendant. He want to say something. He want to welcome home the big homie. They can hear you.
That's already done, man. I already been through that, man. You know what I'm saying? Kev, what up, Kev?
Ain't nothing. Fake. What up?
You already know what it is. Lou, what's up, man?
Man, love, man. You know, it's a alhamdulillah that we here, baby. You know?
You already know what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Glad to see you on this side. Can't wait to meet up, man. You already know it's going to be epic, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to happen real soon, man. So shout out to the other brother that's on here, too.
Big Farris.
All right,
Okay.
what's going on?
All right. Hey, Farris, let me ask you this, right? Because you always got a good mind and give me a lot of wisdom when I have certain situations that might hit my head a little bit. Share with us how the streets sucked you in and what the youth should look out for so they won't go down that path. What would you tell the youth so they don't go down that path?
Ego. You're human. Things gonna happen to you. You know, a person gonna look at you. You know, a person might, you know, bump you. You know, you ain't gotta kill them over it. You don't have to do, you know, the things that, you know, your ego tell you to do. You know what I'm saying? You know, and, you know, since I've been home, a lot of things came my way with a lot of good friends of mine. And, you know, and they've been asking me for advice on certain issues and certain things. And I try to steer them in the right way, let them know that, you know, a lot of things ain't worth it, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, materialistic things, cars and all that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all chasing a ghost of a lifestyle. Y'all chasing a ghost of a lifestyle that you're never gonna catch. You're never gonna catch Rich Porter lifestyle or ghost. You know what I'm saying? Or Kevin Chiles lifestyle of ghost, or you lifestyle of, you know, you're never gonna get my lifestyle, you know, or back in the 90s. You know, you're not gonna get that era back again. That era's gone. You know what I'm saying? So what I want to say is, man, love your family and be true to who you are, you know, and be very responsible with your family and your kids. You know, most of y'all, you know, y'all want to, you know, think about a watch, a chain, a car, whatever, but, you know, not taking the responsibility of, you know, doing the right thing for your mother or your, you know, your son or your sister or something like that. You know, so I think, you know, a lot of youth need to concentrate on what's really important in life, not the materialistic things in life. You know, and just love one another, man. You know, like Puff said, man. You know, love. You know, that's what's gonna get you through, man. Ain't nothing else gonna get you through. You know, love got me through that 27. So if you ain't got no love, you don't you ain't gonna get through that. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be a wasted, person that have probably mental illness and can't cope ever again in life. So you better find some type of love and forgiveness in your heart and try to, be a respectful person and just go about life, minding your business and doing what you have to do to succeed and get to where you want to get to. That's what I want to tell them. Drop your ego. That ego shit ain't about nothing, man. Always have self-respect. But you gotta let the ego go, man. Ego ain't gonna get you nowhere. Ego ain't gonna get you nowhere but a life sentence or with something in your face.
Okay. Welcome home, man. You answer that question. You know what I mean? Share with us how the streets sucked you in and what the youth should know so they don't get sucked in. And I love that answer, by the way, by Farris. That was deep. I didn't know where he was going at first when he started with the word ego. But, he lured me in as he always do.
Well, I can't really, I'm not in the youth circle right now, but I do have a younger son. And, I'm very proud of how he carries himself amongst his friends and, amongst the people that he deal with. And, from what I see now, there's no loyalty with the youth. You know what I'm saying? I used to sit back in the TV room and I would watch all the younger dudes, right? And they all cool, they all laugh at each other. Yo, I love you, I love you, playing around, snapping around. As soon as the other one or one of the younger brothers would give another brother a bag of potato chips, or he couldn't feed him that day or give him a bowl of food, he'd come over to the next brother, and I'd be sitting there listening or whatever, minding my business, but I'm listening because he's talking next to me. And he'd be like, man, fuck that nigga, man. That nigga cook me, ain't give me shit, man. You know what I'm saying? And this is over a bowl of food, or a bag of potato chips. So it's like a cutthroat, and I'm not getting on to you at all. I love my younger brother. I got younger cousins. I got nephews or whatever the case may be. But I'm just saying the mentality of some of them is just bad, man, because they have to know what knowledge is. They have to know what's reality, and they can't allow themselves to get caught up in the rap, that they listen to, and just feeling that they don't care. What I want to say to them, care. You have to care, man. Because when you hear a lot of them act out, they always say, I don't give a fuck, I don't care. But I used to see them saying that, right? And when the CO bring them to the hole, they crying like babies, man. You know what I'm saying? They crying. They can't deal with lockdown. They can't deal with, the pressure of being in the hole for 6, 7, 8 months. Or a shoe program like Lou went through. Like I went through, me and Lou as Kingpins, we did the same amount of time. You know what I'm saying? I might have did a month or two above him because I went in before him. Because I had a state situation. It's just a sad thing because the way I did my time is I mind my business, I stayed out the way. If there's a problem, I'm addressing. I ain't jumping out there for any and everybody. So my circle was small. Now Lou on hand, Lou is a big homie. So he gonna take on the yard. He don't just represent Harlem. He represent Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, Staten Island, Long Island. He represent the whole fucking New York City when he walked through that system. So he don't get recognized when he walk into a pen, or I don't get recognized when I walk into a pen, or Kev, or you, Unique. You get recognized as New York, point blank. You know what I'm saying? And most of the time, dudes ain't have to say, I didn't ever have to say where I was from.
For real.
Recognized automatically. That's Farris. That's Lou Cody. Or that's Lou, or whatever the case may be. But what I want to do is, what I really want to tell the youth is, y'all gotta care, man. Y'all gotta care. Stop all this. I don't give a fuck. And I talk and all that shit. That's military talk, man. You know what I'm saying? So if me and him get into it, me and the young dude get into an argument, I'm an op. But I mean, if I say if he an op, I mean, I want to blow his face off. You know what I'm saying? That talk is used too loose. You know what I'm saying? With our younger brothers, man. And we need to cut that type of talk out, man. Because he's not an op, he's a brother. You know, he's somebody's son, he's somebody's father, he's somebody's brother. You know what I'm saying? You know, a lot of these kids don't mean no harm, but their egos let them, you know what I'm saying, take it too far. And they just need to calm down and chill out, man, because there's a lot of room in them jail cells, man. They let a lot of us out for nothing. As soon as they let us out, they gonna feel like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, they just gotta tighten up, man. I love my young dudes, man. I love them, man. You know what I'm saying? I looked out for a lot of young dudes when I was in. You know what I'm saying? And I avoided a lot of shit with a lot of people when I was in. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna stop it before it happened. You know what I'm saying? Especially if I have the power. You know what I'm saying? I didn't let too much go when I was out here or when I was in there at times. You know what I'm saying? But now that I evolved, you know what I'm saying? I don't feel that's the right way to go about it. I just don't feel it. You know, you can take other avenues.
Yeah.
It's all right to call a person. You know, we all got phones and text messages and social media. Yo, me and them have a problem. Yo, hit me, call me. Guys, I don't like what you did, man. Yo, man, come on, man. You know, we talk about it. That's what men do. That's what men do. You know, men talk and have conversations and resolve things. You know what I'm saying? It don't necessarily always have to be about he's an op, I'm gonna kill him because he didn't like my picture on Instagram or he said something to this. So, you know, it's just a lot of childish activity going on in society with our younger brothers that we need to, you know, uplift them and help them, man. You know, and conversate with them.
Lo, piggyback off that, family. How do you feel about that? Because, you know, we up here, you down there in DC. How do you view that conversation that he was just explaining?
I mean, I agree with that because, you know, out here in this setting is a whole different environment as well. And things are on every day. And right now it's heating up every day out here because it's a death every day, or you got 3 killings in a day out here right now. So, like, I think what needs to happen for the youth right here is if we could get more men like ourselves, you know, that's coming home to embrace them and show them that there is love out here for them and there's people that care about them, then I think if we could get 1 or 2, we could probably we could pull a number of others in. But is with the fathers being absent in a lot of households, kids grow up and they take straight to the street. So order to reach, they first got to want to be reached. And sometimes you can get to some kids out there, the youth today, you can get to them, but they so far gone that it's really hard to really pull them in and get them to believe that you really care. And it's just a sad situation, especially out here, because kids is like this. So what I do is I stick with what I stick with, which is the kids that I'm working with, the youth that I'm working with, and I stay to that group. If I could reach out to somebody else, because it's not just about boxing with my group of kids, it's about school, learning a trade, and being more of a family, you know, oriented individual. Because a lot of these youths, all they have is their mother. So for me, it's a great thing because I'm able to give back and I'm able to, you know, help these kids see a different way of life. Some of these kids, I even, you know, work towards putting them into trades. So if I can at least show them that is a better way, maybe they can reach out to another young individual like themselves and bring them in and hopefully steer them in the right direction. But my whole focus is like working with kids and getting them to a point in life that they appreciate themselves and they're able to love their mothers, because a lot of these kids out here, they running over their mothers. They don't have no respect for their mothers. They don't have no respect for their elders. It's just a different world out here. You know, if you're not seeing these kids standing on a corner or in front of the 7-Eleven, bumming for change, or laying out on a bus stop somewhere, or laying all in the middle of the street because they on all type of drugs, how do you really get to individuals like that that already has given up on life so young? So it's my job now to try to give back to them and pull them in and bring them out of that state that state where they stuck at, because they done confined themselves to a box without even seeing it. They have imprisoned their minds with drug abuse. So some kids just don't know no better until, you know, they have someone really showing them that is a different way and trying to curb them from going in the wrong direction, which would either be death or prison for a longer time.
Okay. Lou, Larry Moe said that you know, he had to leave. He had a family emergency. He said that he gonna shout you out. He shout you out real loud, as much respect. You already know. He said he gonna call you later. You know, he was trying to come in here. You know, he had trouble logging in through his joint. But you know, DC in here, salute to y'all. OG salute, King Alfred, aka Big Tal. But now, if you had to write a letter to the youth to tell them, you know, if you had to write a letter to the youth to tell them how they've been impacted by your absence, you know what I mean? What would you do? I mean, how would you start that letter? If you had to write a letter to the youth about the impact that you had on them from your absence there with them. Let's go with Kevin on that one.
Well, again, I think this conversation is big on respect. I know that's what allowed me to survive, you know, throughout all my crazy. You know what I mean? I always respected another man, you know, and the respect was reciprocated. You know, I remember when if there was ever an issue, first of all, the younger guys looked up to somebody, and the OGs was trying to, I guess at the time, for me, I looked up to the generation before me. So if I got out of pocket, somebody would come and pull my coat and say something to me, but I respected the individual enough to listen to what they say and be like, you know, because I know they wasn't trying to steer me wrong. You know, so I took a lot of those experiences along my journey as well. So I know that, you know, other men that I had came into contact with, we all respected each other. So if there was ever an issue, you know, we as men, we all went and had whatever conversation with whomever about whatever, you know, but the respect, almost like how the mafia is set up, you know, there's a hierarchy there. And because of respect, it sort of keeps things in some sort of like framework. I think what's missing today is, like, again, a lot of us left the streets, you know, and then everybody started just sort of like freestyling. And I think, you know, there wasn't anybody to sort of check somebody and keep them in line. Like, you know, you couldn't be in my neighborhood doing something out of pocket and somebody wouldn't go to you, especially if you're a younger dude, and say, hey, man, you're out of pocket. You know, you're doing some things that, you know, ain't cool, you know, but because they respect you, they will fall in line and do the right thing. You know what I'm saying? So like El said, you know, when we left, a lot of these kids was being raised in these households without father figures, you know, and the mothers was doing the best job they could do in our absence. You know what I mean? And I know that for a fact. You know, I watch a lot of these kids who grew up, you know, in our absence, and you can see how different they are. You know, we there was something that we respect, or there was someone that we respect that could come to us and sort of like, you know, sort of check you. And it wasn't them like belittling you or chumping you. They, you know, you just respected them. So, you know, when they came to you and they said whatever they said to you, that it would just keep you in line a little bit. So our absence, man, you know, you can see the difference in the next generation. That's a fact. You know, they're super disrespectful, you know. And back then, if you was disrespectful, it came with consequences. You know what I mean? Like right now, it's like Lou said, it's like the internet, and it's a bunch of nonsense. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I just think that you have to respect something. You know what I mean? You have to care about something. Something has to have some meaning to you. You know what I mean? And then there has to be some consequences to your actions. You know what I mean? To keep you in line a certain kind of way. I think minus all of those kind of things, this is what we're looking at. You know, we just and you know, so for me, that's what I think is paramount. You know, respecting something. You know, like again, if there's an older guy in your hood, and even if he ain't a dude who's made a lot of money, or well, he's not the character that you look up to be impressed by. But if he's 50 years old, he got to be 50 for a reason. He knows something that, you know, somebody 20 don't know. So there's always some wisdom in somebody who's gotten to that age. You know, you don't get to be a certain age by not going through some things, you know, especially in the environments that we came up in. So, you know, I just think you just need to respect something. Like, you know, like, again, it's just simply put, when we was kids, there was a thing where they said you just respect your elders just because. You know, that's just what was a thing. Like, you know, we could be acting crazy, but if so-and-so mother walked down the street, you sort of straightened up and because you knew that there was going to be some consequences for you acting out a certain kind of way. You know what I mean? It's just not the same anymore, you know. And again, I think that we're responsible for that in some part because we wasn't here, you know, to put certain young dudes in place a certain kind of way and not chumping them, but like at the same time pulling their coat, say, homie, you know, you acting out of pocket a little bit, you know what I mean? And that ain't cool. And if they respect you, then, you know, it will be like they will fall back in line. So that's sort of like, you know, some of my thinking on that subject.
Yeah, that was deep. Okay, I like that. Okay, so many of us on this panel have been given another chance by different reasons. What is the lesson you now live with? Go with that, Luke.
The lesson I live with?
Yeah.
Well, the lesson I live with, right? I realize that when I look at all the rich dudes that came up legit, I realized I could have took another way because there's a lot of different ways to make money right now, you know. But I see that in jail, that since I've been in prison, right? I see a lot of different ways that I could have took, you know what I'm saying? And I even look at Kev from, you know, his little experiences with the magazines, you know what I'm saying? That was a hell of a creative idea he had, what he did, you know, just from the jail and just to do that was a hell of a way. But like I said, you know, that's what I would like to tell the youth for us. Like, it's always another way, you know what I'm saying? There's always another way to get rich than the other way, because you got to remember, I come from a family of 10, you know, and my older brothers was always household names in the street, you know what I'm saying? They was talking about when I was a kid, so I followed their ways, but at the same time, coming from a family of 10, you got to remember, and me being born in the 60s, we ain't had half of what, you know what I'm saying, the youth got today. You know, mothers and fathers was driving cars. Now we ain't had none of that. We had small TVs, and you know, once you ate one time, that was it. You know what I'm saying? The moms bought a pack of cookies. You couldn't just go get what you want to get. You had to ask for a cookie. You know what I'm saying? And then you might just get a half a cookie because, you know, nephews and nieces was over there. So now, you know, I'm looking at it like, you know, back then everybody couldn't sell no drugs, but now anybody can sell drugs. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't even about the money no more. You know what I'm saying? Because now I look at it from the 70s. I'm looking at, man, I missed my lick with the 70s. I supposed to have been there with them and got rich. But then when I came in the 80s, the late 80s, you know what I'm saying? So I missed half of the crack era. But when I did come, you know what I'm saying, it was profitable, but it wasn't nowhere near like the early 80s or, you know, the 70s money. But then I look at the money today, I'm like, man, y'all wasting time. You know what I'm saying? Y'all wasting time, especially for the time I get. I feel I got way too much time for, you know, for what I went to jail for. But, you know, it is what it is, though. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to complain. But, like, you know, like what Kev said earlier, right, about the kids, my son was 2 years old when I went to jail. And I'm not going to place blame on anybody, but, you know, I really hate that, you know, dudes told him certain things about his father, and he tried to follow my footsteps because he'd been in and out of jail, and that was crushing me. But one thing he did say in an interview, you know what I'm saying, when he was being interviewed for the kids of Harlem, that, yo, one of the reasons why he went to school is because he wanted to learn how to read and write so he can write and read my letters. That shit touched me, you know what I'm saying? That was one of my turning points there. I was like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Even from here, he's still respecting, you know what I'm saying, look up to his father. But at the same time, I used to tell him, I used to kick it with him, but sometimes when I used to call, he didn't want to answer the phone because maybe I was too hard. You know what I'm saying? I was too hard on him instead of giving it to him like I'm gonna try to give it to the youth now. I was maybe too hard. Like, yo, look, man, you can't be doing this. I was just too hard on him, you know. But now, you know, we talk like me and you now. You know what I'm saying? So I'll be telling him, yo, look, you got to decide what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Whether you're gonna come home, because he's in New York State now. You're gonna come home and do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? And be calling me to ask you for commissary money again, or you gonna come home and do like I do. You know what I'm saying? You know.
Like that.
It's kind of hard on the kids, but like I explained it to you, you know, me coming up, I had to be in the street. You know what I'm saying? We had to put food on the table. Not saying that I had to, because, you know, like my brothers and them was already there, but I'm following their footsteps. You know what I'm saying? You know, see, I never did shopping in kids stores. My brother, you know the truck that used to come by the vans. My brother brought me that shit right off the truck and clothed me there. So I always had adult clothes on that was too big that I had to get tailor made. You know what I'm saying? They ain't had time for all that. They just knew what they knew. Yo, you gonna wear the same thing we wear. We ain't taking you down there to buy. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, I followed in their footsteps. You know what I'm saying? You know. So that's what made me a product of the street, because, you know, we had to do what we had to do in order to make it. But now, like I said, you got parents with good jobs. You know what I'm saying? Mom's probably be a nurse, and father probably works sanitation. That's two incomes. That's good pay. You know, get you anything you want, a pair of Jordans and all that. They got all that. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't no reason for them to get the street. But like you said, there was nobody to guide them. Because like you said, at that time when we was growing up, you already know if you came from a good family, you ain't coming to the street. You know what I'm saying? You ain't coming to the street. You know, especially, you know what I'm saying? I even told Kev that, but I understand Kev's situation. But when I read his book, I understand his situation. But at the same time, I looked out like, man, if Kev would have had an easier way, he could have went to play pro ball, man. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I told him that, man. You know what I'm saying? I had to tell him, man. You know, I grew up playing basketball, but shoot, as soon as I realized what $1 was and I can get it, you know, I went to the street, because, man, I couldn't keep going to basketball court with holes in my sneakers. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't keep doing that one.
That goes back to what Farris said about the ego, right?
Yeah, you're right. You know what I'm saying?
You know,
like
that's where it started.
You know, like, you know, like in the prison system, you got a lot of dudes that they go on the word being a man, so they don't know how to address certain issues. You know what I'm saying? When I say address certain issues, they may get into another man, you know what I'm trying to say, and tell them, yo, man, I'm a man, you know what I'm trying to say? But when you address that issue as a man would address the issue, later on when y'all both locked down, the first thing, but yo, why you had to do that? And I'd be like, what you mean what you got to do? Just the way you present it. Because if me and you in an argument, and I'm trying to settle something, and you keeping up on a high level, and I'm trying to keep it on a low level, I ain't got no other choice but to put it on a high level and deal with it on a higher level. You know what I'm trying to say? You know, and that's what, like you said, that's what's going on in the prison system now. And dudes ain't you know, they ain't built like that to be men, because a lot of these dudes is up on the video games. They ain't grow up in PL fighting or even go to juvenile like certain dudes do. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, when they get in the prison setting, that's the first thing they think, oh, I'm a man. You know what I'm trying to say? Until they really addressed by a man. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, when you deal with the youth today, you got to let them know, yo, look, the consequences, whatever you do, you got to be able to face the consequences. That's like if you out there selling drugs, you know what I'm saying? When it's time for you to get that time, you got to take that time. You know what I'm trying to say? You know what I'm saying? You ain't no need for you to just say, nah, well, he did it. Nah, you know, you can't place blame. You know what I'm saying? Because that man ain't put you in. That's what something you wanted to do. You know what I mean? You know, that's something you wanted to do.
And that's definitely most deep, you know. But my thing is, you know, when I went to jail, like my kids were so young, and 26 years, man, when I come out, they're adults, and I got grandkids where I could relate to the grandkids more than my own children, because I remember them as children. You know what I mean? I don't know them as adults, which is what they are after 26 years, you know? And, you know, it's just hard, man. But I want to tap out. We've been here long enough. I appreciate everybody for coming. And I want to welcome you home, Lou. I want to thank you, Kevin, for supporting. You know, I want to thank you, you know, big brother Lamont, you know what I mean? Thank you, Cultivating Lives, for your donation. Thank you, Godson. Thanks everybody for donating and coming through. But you know, we're here, man. We're here and we're trying to make a change. So, you know, That's what it is. So I'm gonna close out because I wrote a little pledge. Well, my manager wrote a little pledge helping me out. We sat there and put this together, trying to really see what we're gonna do and where we're gonna go from here. Because we don't want to be that it's just a one-time do something and then nothing happened after that, and we just talking a bunch of gibberish. You know what I mean? So we already heard what Low doing. As far as with the boxing, we know what Kev doing with the Don Diva. You know, big shout out to Jeffrey Lee. We know what Lou planned on doing as far as bringing awareness to the injustice that's the inside. And let me speak on this before I close. I know Lou is passionate about that because he spent a hell of a lot of time in the damn shoes, man. Lou spent a lot of time in I spent a lot of time in the shoes. Don't get it twisted. I did 5 years in ADX straight. You know what I mean? I did my little decade or so in there too. I mean, Lou spent a lot of time in the shoe because that's the big homie. You know what I mean? Because whatever the little homies do, you know what I mean? The big homie have to step up. You know what I mean? And make sure that the car is ran right. And that falls back to what Big Farris just said. You know what I mean? Egos. You know what I mean? Because our egos was up there. We're going to represent New York. We ain't going to have nobody talk down to New York. That's where that ego kick in. So we all know about it. Because we moved off of ego. That's why now as a man, you know what I mean? I move off my instinct and desire to survive. That's it. Not my feelings, not my emotions, my instinct and desires to survive. You know? I let the good brothers talk so that you can hear these brothers that have serious charges, murder charges and kingpin charges. So you know we ain't no little people telling you something that we don't know. We went to the big house. You understand what I'm saying? And I definitely want to shout out Kevin Chiles for coming through. His book, The Crack Era, was fire. He sent it to me while I was on lockdown, and it came like about 2 months before I came home, and he had me so hyped. So that's probably why I came home on my the F up and running wild, because Kev brought me back in the 80s. The book is so fire. So if y'all don't go buy that, I'm going to tell you now, y'all damn fool. That Crack Era by Kevin Chiles is like that. You know what I mean? And, you know.
I want to thank Kev for sending me that book, man. You know, it was a good book when I was on lockdown.
That's one of the best books I ever read, man. During my time, I read a lot of books being locked down and being incarcerated for 27 years. But I took my hat off to Kev, man. Crack Era is one of the best books I ever read.
Yeah, I loved it.
One of the best books I ever read.
And it's 100. And it's 100.
It's a story.
Mm-hmm.
It's a story. It's a life story. Got everybody's lives in it. You know what I'm saying? You know, and you know, I definitely like to tip my hat off and commend him on it. And you know, and thanks for the advice he always gives me when we talk. Like me about a lot of things and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Also, same thing with Lou. You know, I'm proud of the man he has become. You know, I don't judge nobody. You know, things they do in life. You know, everybody got to get held accountable one day or another, or whatever the case may be. But it's definitely always love and respect, you know, with the brothers that's on this panel. You know, battle tested all the way. You know, I've seen the attitudes when they was facing life sentences. I seen Kev attitude when he was on trial twice. You know, I seen him playing basketball through it. You know. I've seen him in the law library, you know. I've been with Lou, you know, shackle to shackle. We just laughed in the courtroom, we laughed in the bullpens, you know, and we did what we had to do at the end of the day, you know. Shout out to the real brothers, you know that definitely stood strong and held their head through everything. Definitely always much love.
All right. But like I said, you know, I got the Raw in Harlem. Check it out. You know what I mean? But like I said, Kev, your book is bananas. You know, rawinharlem.com. You know, and to volunteer or to sit down and speak with me if anybody need any counseling, consultation, or whatever, feel free to reach out to me. The email is on the screen, meccaaudiobusiness@gmail.com. So if you're trying to reach out to me, holla. But I'm going to close out now by thanking everybody for coming. But let me hit the closing. I gave a pledge to give back to the community. So many people feel like I may have taken from them. Because I know I did a lot of wrong in that community. You know, my challenge to myself is to be positive, is to be a positive role model for the youth by telling my story from the perspective of the power of choices, because I had the choice to either get in the game or don't get in the game. You know what I mean? I had the choice to either go to trial or not go to trial. You know what I mean? Because we all have choices in life, you know? And I think I want to ask that one before I leave. Go ahead.
Shout out to Ty Guns, man.
Oh, big shout out to Ty Guns.
I know he's going through a little something right now, but hold your head, bro. Shout out to bro, man.
Yeah, most def. Ty Guns helped me down when I was in Lee County. I got nothing but love for Ty Guns. You know what I mean? That's a solid brother that I really would like to interview on here. You think I got energy? Hey, yo, look, they think I got energy. You know what I mean? But my energy up to Ty Guns, son.
Yeah, that's my
you know what I mean?
son, man. That's gonna always be my son, man.
Oh, you already know. You know, like I said, he helped me down when I was down there in Lee County, man. Good brother, man. Like I said, he New York all the way, Harlem, 10 toes down, speakers mine. You know what I mean? It is what it is. You know, that's big Ty Guns. But
know Harlem, look out for Harlem.
You already know. You know what I mean? Love him to death. You know?
Yeah, you already know. You know?
I definitely know.
You already know. We look out for each other, baby.
Yeah, definitely, no doubt. You know, I ain't got nothing but respect for you. You know how that go. You know what I mean?
All right, so now I sat here. I'm sitting here, and I'm letting me know that I'm my brother's keeper, and I'm making a pledge to try and do better. Y'all making a pledge with me to try and do better. We're gonna try and stick together and come together, whether we do it individually or collectively, and try and do better.
You already know that. Why you think we here today?
Yeah, facts.
Let them hear it so they know that this is Harlem, this is love. And we ain't up here talking about no drugs, no murder, no none of that. You know what I mean? This is about the youth. So we ain't worried about getting 10,000 views. We worried about saving one. You know what I mean? And that's what we up here for. We done did our dirt back then. You know what I mean? We apologize. It is what it is. We paid our debts to society, a debt that I hope and I pray that none of y'all will have to go through. But I don't think you'll be able to make it because I don't know how the hell I made it. So I can't explain it. Say something, Lo?
I think in situations like this, I think it brought a lot of us as men now together, you know, and it helped us to see things differently, you know, as a whole, where we can appreciate each other a little bit more now. You know, it wants you to be at some point in time. And I speak like that for myself and other men that see things differently now. So I'm hearing from Farris, I'm hearing from Lou, and I'm hearing from Kev and yourself, you know, Unique, you know, you've been through a lot and you've given back now a lot. Same for Kev, you know, I got a lot of respect for Kev. I know Kev, I'm not going to say that I was always around Kev, but Kev has always been someone that I respected and looked up to, period. You know, and Lou the same. Me and Lou developed a relationship, and he's a good man, period. I haven't met Farris, you know, face to face yet, but I know that day will come soon. Time. But Unique, you know, where we been at, you know, the things we've been through, and I respect all the men in DC. There's so many men in DC that I deal with, you know, from the heart that I can't even name everybody because I deal with everybody, you know. And I just want to say that, like, it takes situations like this to bring us together because now we're seeing things differently. Life is not promised to none of us. You know, so I think the good thing that we all can do now is, you know, try to support one another, embrace one another, and just, you know, try to make a change in all this that's going on now. You know, try to reach out in some type of way to give back to the youth because a lot of kids just don't know. They just not feeling that love, period. You know, and you know, a lot of us is in positions where as though we could do a little bit more. And I respect what Lou is trying to do because that's a thing that's going on now in the prison system. And as you can see, it's getting worse now, because now they only giving you what, 20 minutes of rec, 10 on the phone, 10 in the shower. It's crazy. Like, it's not a good thing right now, you know. So it's on us to keep the youth today from going that route. You feel what I'm saying? Because that's a dead system now. When you go there now, they giving you football numbers and they trying to take your life from you, period. You know, you're gonna die in there. So if any youth today think that's cool, that I don't think you really want to deal with that, because most people that go in there, they can't even do 18 months, let alone 6 months.
Yo.
For hanging themselves, getting strung out on drugs, or they on medication.
They smoking the too.
So
yeah. You already said
that, man.
You already said, Lo. He said they smoking. Farris said they smoking the K2. What's up, Lo?
Yeah, that K2 and that spice is killing brain cells.
Oh, you still in? Yeah.
Hey, my bro, I want to ask you. You said
Okay.
you're working out of DC,
Yeah. No, we get ready to go.
What's
Now
that?
go ahead, Farris.
He's the brother. So he said he's working out of DC, right?
Yeah, I'm from Harlem.
He from Harlem. That's Lamont.
40th.
I understand that, but he said he's working in DC.
Yeah, I'm in DC now. This is where I paroled to. Right. I've been home now. For 5 years and like a month.
Are you working with a brother named Musa out there? The kids?
I know Musa.
Okay. I want to, what you working with the program with the kids. I know he's working with a nonprofit with kids and stuff like that. Like
I'm working with a boxing team. We're a national ranked team.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah, I'm working with youth in boxing. So anywhere from the ages of 7 to 18.
That's beautiful. That's good.
Travel out. So the whole time I've been home, first when I came home, I got into a gym. I found a gym that I was going to be comfortable with, and then I stood in that gym for a while, worked with a few pros, left that gym, and now I'm at a gym where there's more youth and I'm more hands-on. And, you know, we travel out to different events, whether it's Colorado, Vegas, Louisiana, Atlanta, wherever we got any events at, that's where we travel to. So we attend several nationals, several junior Olympics. We do the Golden Gloves. And basically, like I said, it's just about giving back to them, and not just boxing, but being a mentor, being that brother, being that absent father. Because I have a kid, you know, which I took in as my godson, and he made it to be in the country. He's currently now in the Navy. He chose to not box. He made it through school, finished high school, chose not to go to college, not to box anymore. But I told him he had to make a decision, because I took him in with me. So you either choose life, death, poverty, or prison. You got to make a choice. If you choose life, that means you want to do the right things with your life. If you choose poverty, that means you're going to go out to do the wrong things, which is going to end you up either in prison or dead. So he had to make a decision with me, and he chose to go to the Navy, and I commend him for that. He was 18 years old. He finished school. He's doing good now, you know. And I got a letter from him, and in his letter, he thanked me for not giving up on him, you know, and I feel good about that. You know, that
as you should.
It brought, honestly, it brought like tears to me, because here it is, a youth is telling me, thank you for not giving up on them. You know, like, and it's not often you get that, you know. And if I can help others to see different and want to make a change and do different with their life, that's what I'm here for, because I think I should have been. That's how I see it. I should have been dead. But God granted me chances after chances. He brought me through this 27. And since I've been home, I done faced two major situations and 3 car incidents.
No.
I should be gone from here. But I asked for the simple fact that my mother is no longer here. And I would rather be with my mother. You see what I'm saying? But that's not what God wants for me right now. So whatever his plans is for my life, I give praise to him for that. So the breath that he put into me today, and each day that he grant me what life, I'm going to give back to the kids, to the youth. I'm going to be grateful to others. I'm going to appreciate others. I'm going to love others. And I can't say if they're going to give me the same love back, but it's cool. I can move forward with that because I'm not nobody stagnate my life. And long as I have these kids around me and I'm putting my energy into the kids,
that's the blessing.
Great.
Farris said that's the blessing. Yeah. But look, I'm gonna cap out with
yeah.
A lot of
brothers on the chat, and they talking about, the whole 40 cal.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. If you let me run my show, big brother, I got it on the screen. Thank you, Farris. Thank you, Farris. All right. Peace and blessings, OG. You know what I mean? All right. Manners and respect. 40 Cal's daughter is missing. It's been 10 days since peace helps spread the awareness. So we need a picture of 40 Cal's daughter and whatever information we could get so that we can help you spread the awareness a little further. And you got my brother Kevin Chiles here with Don Diva that got a very big reach. So please get us the information. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. All right. Is that all right, Farris?
I appreciate it, man. I don't know the brother, man, but
I'm just making light, family. You know what it is. I'm just making light. But we here, man. We're going to spread the word on 40 Cal's daughter, man. And we get ready to tap out. Thank you, Farris, for coming. Thank you, Lamont. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you to my team, Cultivating Hands, everybody, John Jones, everybody. Thank you, man. God bless you.
Okay.
Peace.